Greetings, Cohort M. I'm Cassandra Barlow, and for my Historical Foundation project, I chose to research a woman who has done so much, yet so little is known about her. As a certificated teacher myself, working in a non instructional role as a job developer for special needs children, I chose an extraordinary educator who was a teacher, a principal, an entrepreneur, and an advocate for the rights of the special needs. Her name is Margaret Bancroft. She was born on June the 28th of 1854. That was over 166 years ago. Her father was an immigrant from Wales, and she was the fourth of five children. She attended the Girls' Normal School in Philadelphia, and in 1873, at the ripe young age of 19, she became a fifth grade teacher. She grew up to transform the way we educate persons with special needs in America. She also was raised in the Quaker faith. I think it's important for us to pause right now and for me to share a few of the tenets of the Quaker faith. Traditionally, they were core Protestant Christians. That included the divinity of Jesus Christ, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, as well as salvation. Yet, like other Christian denominations, they too hold unique beliefs as well. They believe that every person possesses an inner light, a term that the Quakers used to describe the theological belief that the presence of God resides in every person, that inner light. And that comes from St. John chapter 1, verse 9, that reads, "That was the true light which lighteth every man that cometh into the world." This doctrine was important as their founder, George Fox, argued that Christians did not need to go to church to know God. They could simply look inward. When I reflect on the work of this magnificent woman, Margaret Bancroft, I firmly believe that she was driven by that belief that there resides in everyone an inner light that comes from God. After teaching for only a few short years, her intelligence, imagination, and dedication to her students set her apart as an extraordinary educator. Recognized for her hard work, she quickly moved up the ranks to become principal of school number 9 on Temple Street in Philadelphia. As principal, she went to her superintendent and asked if she could start a school for special needs students. She called them the peculiar, the backward students, and not wanting to lose her as principal, the superintendent agreed to let her conduct that class. So she served as principal and teacher at the same time. It quickly became apparent that one class would not be sufficient to accommodate the rising need of services that were tailored for the special needs. So she then went back to her superintendent and asked if she could attend a special training, and that was denied. The request denial was the catalyst to her ultimate decision to embark upon entrepreneurship. And with the encouragement of prominent professionals and a little bit of money as well from those same professionals, Bancroft embarked on a courageous endeavor at the age of 29 of opening the first private boarding school for disabled children, and that was in 1883. The name of her school was the Haddonfield School for the Mentally Deficient and Peculiarly Backwards. That's a tongue twister, and I will say it again. The school was named the Haddonfield School for the Mentally Deficient and Peculiarly Backwards. The school name was changed in 1904 to the Bancroft Training School. They were a leader in education of special needs students. There were several things that set her apart from the regular ed programs in her area. The main differences in her program for special needs students was she felt that no two students were similarly deficient. Therefore, they all needed an individual prescription of study. Today, we call that an IEP. She felt that parents needed to be involved in the development of that curriculum and that doctors and other clinicians needed to be invited as well to give input, clinicians who had worked with the student, so that the proper diagnosis of education would go to each child. She felt that special students should not be educated in classes with regular ed students. She felt that no school should have more than 100 students and no class should exceed more than 20 students. She also felt that public outings were ideal for training students, and we do that still today. We take students to the bank to teach them how to withdraw and make deposits and how to use an ATM machine, how to go grocery shopping. We take them to train for the driver's license. Believe it or not, some of them can learn to drive a car. She was an author, and as an author, she was a change agent. She wrote several manuscripts. In 1905, she wrote a training manual for parents who opted to teach their kids at home, and she taught them things that ranged from daily eating habits to bathing practices to clothing routine and even the subjects that they should study. She also taught parents how to decrease their child's sexual and unfortunate masturbation urges. And other writings by Miss Bancroft were collected posthumously after her death, and that collection of work is called Collected Papers of Margaret Bancroft on the Mental Subnormality and the Care and Training of Mentally Subnormal Children. As a lecturer, she spoke to many organizations from 1898 on up to close to her death in 1909. She spoke to organizations such as the National Congress of Mothers, the National Education Association, National Conference of Charities and Corrections, the Department of Special Education of the National Educational Association, the Home and School Association, and she was a keynote speaker at the 34th annual meeting of the American Academy of Medicine. She also was a community activist. In September of 1894, she invited a group of prominent women to her home so that they could start an organization. And the purpose was for the promotion of the educational, literacy, and social interests of women. They named their group the Haddon Fortnightly. You see this beautiful, stately, columned building to your right? That was one of the locations where they met on a regular basis. That building is still standing now, and it is on the National Registry of Historical Sites. It's still trending today because the Fortnightly is still in existence, and it is a civic and social club for women, and it is over 125 years old. Margaret's ideas are still trending. She was born in 1854. She had an idea of training mental children, and before she died, her dream was realized. Still trending today, a statue was erected in front of the school, which was her home, in commemoration of this remarkable woman. Educational trends that were begun by Margaret Bancroft in the 1800s are still paying dividends today. The Haddonfield School for the Mentally Deficient and Peculiarly Backwards of 1883 is still open, and it operates simply under the name Bancroft. It is a 501c3 company in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. I'd say that's still trending. Bancroft has expanded to offer a wide range of services for children and adults in more than 275 facilities and homes and has over 2,700 employees. Its mission is to deliver high-quality services to empower students and residents. In these programs, clinicians treat various challenging diagnoses, including autism, other intellectual and developmental disabilities, brain injury, and severe behavior disorders within their facilities and private homes. You see, Bancroft also offers in-home tutoring services and transitional services to aid residents in becoming more independent and obtaining employment. More than 130 years ago, a Quaker woman by the name of Margaret Bancroft, guided by her belief that God's light resides inside every person, left her secure position as a principal to open a school that had only one student. There was one teacher and one student. And today it is still trending as a leading regional provider of special education programs. Bancroft is still lighting the world today, still trending. Thank you.